Hello and welcome to Sportswomen Connect. My name is Regina, your host. In today's episode on Sportswomen Connect, we will talk to an exceptional young woman who has beaten the odds to build her future through sport. She picked herself up from a dire situation and is here to share her story and mentor girls and women to believe in their inner power and the power of sport to elevate young girls and women. To join me in this conversation is Miss Winnie Atyang. Winnie, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Regina. And thanks for having me in the show.
You're most welcome. Tell us a little bit more about yourself.
My name is Winnie Atyang Alexander. I'm Lange by tribe, and this tribe is found in the northern part of Uganda. And I'm glad to be here today to share my personal experience and story with ladies and girls out there. At 17, I got pregnant by a high school boyfriend. I gave birth to twins. They're both girls. But most people don't know that I'm a Nalongo Winnie Atyang. Now they do, yes. So I dropped out of school and stayed home for 2 years.
What was the reaction of your parents when you fell pregnant?
Very, very disappointed with me. Actually, at one point, they sent me out of home. So when they sent me out of home, I had to join the father of the twins' family. It was their responsibility now to see to it that I live with them until I give birth. So I stayed with them. I stayed with them for 2 years because the argument between his parents and my parents were, when I give birth, they send me back to school. But they breached that agreement. When I gave birth now, they didn't want to take responsibility of the twins. They wanted me to stay home and take care of the twins until further notice. Yes. That time, I felt so bad because all my age mates were going to school and I was staying home with the twins. And even then, I was not comfortable in the society because every time you moved, you were a story. Someone is whispering behind your back. That's the girl who used to go to this school. Now she's dropped out of school. She's at home. Being a mother at 17, for that matter, and they're twins, it's not easy. It's very, very difficult, emotionally, mentally. So I was supposed to deal with 2 babies. And I'm a baby myself. But somehow God has his own ways of seeing people through. I think one thing that lifted me more or made me who I am today was that I was involved in sports, rugby for that matter. My first day when I joined rugby, when I went to the club, was not a bad experience because I met a lady who had a nickname, Colorful. We called her Colorful because she was very light-skinned. But her real name is Brenda. Brenda welcomed me and with a very big smile. She's always smiling. Colorful gave me my first sports bra after a week because she saw I was training. Remember, that time I was still breastfeeding. I was struggling to run. I didn't have good sports bra, so she saw I was struggling to run. She brought me my first sports bra, let me say. And I was so touched. I felt like I was associating with the right people. Right group of people. Then one of the fans who was always at the club, he's called Judo Kelo. He bought me my first boots. First pair of boots. He bought them for me and he brought them and said, "You're always running here. It rains and when it rains, it floods. You won't be able to run." Yeah, it's a wetland. This is a wetland, yeah. So what he did, he got me boots, but the boots were not fitting me. They're squeezing. I couldn't say no because I was excited. I also don't want to disappoint him that the shoe doesn't fit. But he noticed along the way because he sees the way I'm running and he notices I'm not comfortable. It's not okay. Yes.
How long ago is this?
16 years ago. And then the coach wanted to know more about myself because he would see that I am a promising player. And he asked me, "What would you like to do?" I told him my full story. So he told me, "You should go back to school. You're still very young. All is up here in the brain. If you focus, you'll get to where you want to get to." So I go to Crane High School. I pick forms to join. But remember, I dropped out of school in my senior 2. I stayed out of school for 2 years. 2 years, yeah. So now I was dropped back to start afresh. I joined senior 1. I was nervous. I was nervous a bit. I remember for the first time I never took off my sweater because I was hiding a lot of things from others. When a girl gives birth, they grow up. Mentally, emotionally, you grow up.
You must grow up.
Yeah, you must grow up. So it disturbed me a little, and I would not fit in, because now remember, these are senior ones. At that age, I am supposed to be in my senior 4. Now I have been brought back to senior 1, and I am a mother. The time I joined school and started studying, the following year my daughter has also started their preschool. So in the morning we would prepare ourselves. All of you are going to All of us are going to school, the 3 of us, the mother and the 2 babies. So every day I would drop them to school, and then I would continue to school. I had a problem making it on time at school. I was forced to open up with the senior woman teacher at school, with my class teacher, and the gatekeeper. Yes. Because the gatekeeper would not let the students in school after a certain time. 8 a.m. in the morning. So I explained my situation to them, and they didn't believe me. They thought it isn't a story that I am selling to them so that I am favored. Because then now I looked younger because I had short hair, I'm wearing my uniform. Cut off the hair. Yes, so now I'm a student. But I kept as calm as I could be in the school, because now I had learned my lessons. I was way ahead of everyone in my class. I was older than everyone in my class. So I was more mature in my class. And I think dropping out of school gave me quite an experience, or it gave me a good lesson. When I joined school, the sports tutor saw a sportswoman in me and called me to their office. And they asked me, how do you see if you join our basketball team? Because we can see you're tall and you're strong. And we shall give you a full bursary. And are strong. Yes, they are. So she said, and you'll not pay a coin. Remember, I had just joined school. I hadn't paid a coin, but I bought all the requirements. You didn't have the fees. I didn't have the fees. You didn't have the support. Nothing. So the deal was 4 years, because they didn't know what plans I would have next. Because now I started playing for the school. A school dropout is now having a full bursary in a school. I was playing 2 sports by then. I'd play basketball and run to rugby. That is so all your weekends were busy? All my weekends were busy. Being busy also helped me. It kept me away from men who would confuse me again, I think. Because now I was focused with school and sports and the children. Yes. It's so amazing that I managed to play 2 sports at a go. One sport mentored me back to school, and the other sport gave me education. So I sat my senior 4, 2008, and then the school called me back and asked me if I wanted to stay in the school. I told them I would stay in the school, and then I did 2 years more, my senior 5 and senior 6. And I got my education through basketball and through rugby. Wow. Around my senior 4 and senior 3, I had a job, a weekend job. I worked every Friday and Saturday at Kyoto Japanese restaurant at Golf Course in Kololo. Then the challenge was sleeping. My sleeping hours now had to change. My schedule now had to change. But somehow I managed. You had to replan everything. Yes, I had to replan everything. Now, my salary from Kyoto was taking care of the girls' school fees. And I worked at Kyoto, I think I worked at Kyoto for 4 years, because I worked up to my senior 5. And then my boss now wanted to relocate and go to Nairobi. I couldn't go with him. I stopped working. And then I didn't work, but I had an NGO. One of the ladies, I met her at the bar. We exchanged contacts. So I would meet her and go for their fellowships and, you know, meet other people. And that is how I got, again, another weekend contract. Yeah, another weekend job. So remember when I left the family of my boyfriend then, they all said, okay, we're not going to give you help if you don't stay with us, or give us back the children. We'll take care of them. We'll take care of them. And you move on. I didn't want to lose my babies. And no one can raise your child better than you. Yeah, that's true. So I said, it's okay. And somehow I've managed. No one gave me hard cash. That is hard to come by. But I got good words from around the rugby club and the basketball. But I was more attached to rugby. Yes. What was unique about rugby that was not for basketball? Oh, the uniqueness of rugby, I remember our coach emphasizing on 5 points: integrity, solidarity, friends, figure, and family. This would always remind us who we are. We always had a sense of of togetherness, a sense of belonging, and the solidarity. So we were always kept together. Even when we move out of the club and we meet each other out of the club, we would still...
You'd feel like it's a family.
Yeah, and we would protect each other. So that's the beauty with rugby that time. And then, you remember I was playing for a high school basketball, and I was older than the other kids. So my mindset...
You didn't fit in.
Yeah, I didn't fit in well because of my mindset and my age. I was in a totally different age group. Yeah. And then when I'm with the rugby ladies, I'm meeting mothers. Yeah, the universities. So they were more mature. So I fit in more in rugby. Rugby is one thing I don't regret playing. It has made me who I am. I have played at the club level. I've played at national team level. I have played in the World Cup. And I still want to play more World Cups.
And you were the captain at some point, right?
I was a captain at some point, yes, which was a very hard job to do. It's not easy to captain ladies. Women are so emotional. You need to have enough time to listen to women. You need to basically be very careful what you tell a woman. I was a captain in 2007 when we were going to Tunisia, first time going to Tunisia. And it was my first time flying on a plane. I didn't sleep that night.
Tell me about it.
I didn't sleep that night, but it was a very good experience. Rugby got me my certificate and my diploma in sports administration. I want to continue with the sports administration course to the next level and maybe do sports science as well. And then I'm also a level 1 coach, aspiring to be level 2 coach. Okay. And then I'll take it on from there, one step at a time. The beauty of rugby is that, or the beauty of sports per se, is that it keeps you young, mentally, emotionally, physically. You keep young because you are always working out. You're always cutting the fat. You know us ladies. Yeah. We have the stubborn fat. After giving birth, there's that fat that doesn't want to leave your body. But when you work it out, the fat finally sheds off. And you go back to looking as brand new as you were. Yes. As ever, yes.
And now, about the twins, what are they up to?
Right now, the twins are playing basketball. They play the NBL Junior League in their high school. They're in Senior 3 right now, and I'm their #1 fan.
Oh, wow.
I am their manager.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm their motivator. They want to play like their mother. They want to play to the national team. And all I do is provide them with their necessities as a mother and as their manager and as their fan.
Oh, wow. Mother. Yeah, because that is not happening for most girls. They don't have the support that they need from their mothers. And as you know, we are vulnerable as girls. And because we are vulnerable, most of the time our parents want to protect us from sport because they think it's dangerous.
Well, sports is not a dangerous thing. When your child associates with other children from different backgrounds, from different cultures, they learn more. Sometimes they learn good things and the bad things. But we as mothers must be there to guide them all the way. Because now they are children, they are growing up. Now they are teenagers. Teenagers always struggling here and there for, you know, they are going to their puberty now. They are going to their adolescent stage. So they are going through a whole lot of change that the mothers will need to be there. Them being girls, and me having the experience of dropping out of school at a young age, I have all the experience. I have all the words to tell them, to guide them. This is the wrong path, this is the right way. The boys will be there and they're going nowhere. But your education and your sports will always be there. It's going nowhere. They are going nowhere and the sports is going nowhere. So but first things first. Let's get the education, let's get the sports going. Everything else will fall in place as time goes on.
Because after the twins, you've had another baby?
Yes, I've had another baby after 12 years.
After 12 years?
Yes.
So you did everything else. You played your sport for the national team.
Yes.
You played for your club.
Yes.
You represented the country at the World Cup. And then you had another baby.
And then I had another baby. I got another boyfriend who was really nice, who is very supportive. Till date, is very supportive. All is never lost as long as you associate with people who understand you and who motivate you, who mentor you to become better than you were yesterday, is the most important thing for us women. If you have people who are motivating you, you pick yourself up, you push yourself to the next level,
and the sky is the limit.
And the sky is the limit. The late Jim Park always preached it and said, when you lose, it's an eye-opener. It's a wake-up call. You do not want to lose again, especially to the team that you lost to. And you know, his preaching took us to the World Cup. Because most of the girls that went to the World Cup started the rugby. A few numbers, like 3 or 4, didn't start the rugby that time. But most of us who were on that team started rugby. And we had that motivation. That pushed us. And I remember Jim Park in the pavilion, and he was watching us. And he called me to the side and told me, I know you're not a good loser. So go and do what you do best and make sure you win this one. We played Tunisia. Oh, man. I can't forget that day. It is a day that I'll even tell my grandchildren. We played. My shoulders popped out. And they asked me if they could substitute me. And I told the lady, can you fix it back in? And I play. I played with a shoulder that was loose to the final whistle. And we won. The beauty of it is that my pain or my shoulder popping out was not in vain. It was not in vain.
Winnie, you're a strong girl.
Mentally, yes.
Jesus.
For the things that I have gone through in life, I think nothing can bring me down. Trust me. Nothing can bring me down. Wow. Because I know it is within me and it is in the brain to take it to the next level.
Yes.
So I played to the last whistle and we went to the finals. And we played against the South Africans. We were not properly exposed
to play at that level.
But somehow we matched them. We played them. Oh, Regina, that tournament was a tournament of my life. We played them hard. We lost, but they worked for their win. And me being a bad loser, I cried the whole evening. I was sad. Everyone else was like, okay, we've lost, but we've gone to the World Cup. Yeah. I had a short-time celebration that I was going to the World Cup, but I wanted something bigger. Yeah. I wanted the trophy. Yeah. The trophy was all I looked at. But Christine Kizito took me aside and told me, you did your best. And it is not a one-woman sport. It is a team sport. Yeah. We all lost as a team. You didn't lose as a person. So look at the bright side. You're going for the World Cup. And get prepared for it. And you're a legend. Do you know that we qualified for the Senior World Cup? First time in Uganda. So she gave me all those nice words, all those motivations. But I came down the following day, I was happy. Reality checked in. Yes. And I was like, okay, I'm going for the World Cup. That was the most important thing. Although we lost the trophy, it is okay. And we gave them quite a good show.
Okay, and Winnie, if you had something to say to a young girl listening to you right now, or a young woman, what would you say to them? Well,
looking at my story, being a mother at 17, having to go to school, taking care of twins at my age, playing two sports at the same time and working at the same time. If I could do that at my age and still is doing to date, look at yourself and say, I want to be better than Winnie. Let the sky be the limit for you. I want my story to move you to the next level. If I, a lady, could take care of those 2 ladies up to date, give them education that they need and the motivation that they need, how about you? I think you can do better than myself. Let us always look at our challenges and our problems as a motivation and look at it at the brighter side. That you can be what you want to be as long as you focus. Because we are very strong people. We can take in what men cannot take in.
We are multi-talented.
We are multi-talented.
We
multitask. Imagine you have children, you have sports, you have your job and your boss to deal with, and then you have a boyfriend or a husband to deal with. You deal with all these things and settle it at the right time, and you're still moving on strong.
And you're still looking young.
And you're still looking young. I think this should lift us up as ladies, that we can achieve and have it all.
This story is just mind-blowing. She's done it. You can do it. And I just want to thank you all for tuning in. I hope somebody is listening and I hope somebody has been touched by this story. And thank you very much.